guys, coming at you today with a delicious dessert that'll be perfect for your holiday meal dessert table, a keto apple spice cake. So let's get started. Okay, to start out this recipe, we do need some chayote squash. You probably can use a different kind of squash if you'd like. I'm just not sure of the cook time. You are going to need to cook it ahead of time. It's not going to get soft in your cake like apples would. They're a lot softer of a flesh than a squash would be. I did peel and dice my chayote squash this time and it turned out really good. So we need a pound going into a pot. And I don't have a peeler, so I just took a knife. And my chayote squash is not looking too pretty. I just bought it. So we may need, usually 2 will do it, may need 3 today. Ooh, rough. I think a little bit of brown is okay. Change it too much. Big rotten spot in that guy. It's got a little bit better though. It's about 12.7, so I need another squash. I think I'm only gonna need half of this, so exactly 1 pound. The actual apple cake recipe I followed just said 3 cups of like Granny Smith apples or something like that. For figuring out macros, you really need to weigh stuff like this because, like, I mean, no matter if you dice it a different way, pack it a different way, you're gonna get different measurements. So I just always say to weigh, especially if you're very diligent about your macro counts. We're gonna cook this in some cinnamon allulose with a little bit of water, and we're just gonna stew it until it's soft. And then after, we'll use that syrup as a little drizzle on our cake. I'm just going to put enough water in there to coat the bottom of the pan and stir it up. I'm going to keep an eye on it. If I need to add more water, I will. I got a cup here. I'm going to add a half a cup. Turn it on medium heat. Just keep an eye on it, stirring it until it's soft. While that's going, we can get on to the rest of the cake. Starts with 8 ounces of oil. I basically followed an apple cake recipe, but used my measurements for a cupcake. Similar cake recipe, and I have switched out butter for oil in my cake, in my cupcakes and stuff. So you probably can do it here also. I would say make sure your butter is really soft and you whip the crap out of it. The recipe I followed called for golden and, well, for brown and regular sugar. So I'm using a little bit of both. So 96 grams or half cup of brown. You can probably use any kind of brown sweetener for this. It'll just make it a little bit more moist if you use one that has some other ingredients that make it sticky and packable. 196 for probably 192. Sometimes I don't get the math quite right, especially baby brain right now. 192 should be a cup of classic sweetener. We're gonna beat that with a whisk attachment until it's looking a little bit lighter in color and some of the sugars crystals are dissolved. Then we're gonna add in 4 room temperature eggs. While that's going, we'll get our dry ingredients and our pan ready. I'll have all the measurements up on the screen for you. I'm using unflavored whey protein isolate, but you can use a flavored. You're just going to have to cut down sweetener a little bit in your cake, or not if you like things really sweet. Now the recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of vanilla, which I will add, but if you have apple flavoring, feel free to add that, or you can add caramel. We are adding, dun dun dun, actual applesauce. No sugar added. My original cake recipe calls for buttermilk. This is in place of the buttermilk. But if you want to use buttermilk, go right ahead. Just make your own with a little bit of vinegar and nut milk of choice. My cake recipe is really low carb already. So this 1 cup of applesauce adds a carb per slice. There you go, 1 cup. Then we're gonna add 4 eggs to this. Have them soaking in warm water. They're not warm anymore. Chayote squash is almost done. It's getting there. Gotta get our pan ready, and I'm gonna preheat the oven to 350 before I forget. For the pan, I'm doing a 9x13. You can cut this in half and do it in 1 8-inch round or 9-inch round, or you can keep it the way it is and do 2 8-inch rounds. Either way. Say that's good to go. Pretty soft. Add in our dry ingredients all at once. Whoa. Oh god. Oh god. Apparently I can't pour today. Let's try that again. I got a spatula in my way. It'll continue to get thicker as it sits because of the coconut flour. Now we need to get this out of the juice. Now would be a good time to have a slotted spoon, but I do not have one. It's okay if you get some liquid in there. You can also use a strainer if you want. I'm just lazy and don't feel like getting one. Now this will probably thicken enough as it sits. If after your cake is done it's not thick, you can put it on for a little while longer, but it's allulose and water and it's already kind of like, see, it's like dripping off of there. Probably be fine. Now unfortunately I have not figured out a way for it not to sink in there. The apple's all sunk to the bottom, but I'm gonna put like half of them in this time and then put half on top. See if that works. Either way it tastes good. It's just you got a line of apple at the bottom, or chayote squash I should say. Make sure you're spread out evenly. This is going to be a test for the 9x13. Last time I did a half batch in an 8-inch round, 8 or 9-inch round, it took 40 minutes. So we're going to start with 20 on this and see what happens after 20, and I'll decide if we're going to need another 20. I have a feeling, whew, that's warm. It's just gonna, these are all just gonna sink too, but worth a shot. Put this in the oven, 350, 20 minutes for now. That was 20 minutes. Do at least another 20. Yep. Bye-bye. Okay, it is looking good. Oh, and it is done. It's bouncing back. It's not squishy. Oh, it looks good. Yay. We're gonna let this cool. I am gonna test it real quick with a toothpick, but pretty sure it is done. Cool. Set this on a rack to cool. Okay, it's time to slice into this cake. I'm gonna actually slice it into 16. It's still only 3 net carbs. Only 4x4, so cut it in the middle-ish. Very soft cake. Almost a 9x13. Not quite. More like 8.5-ish. So 4 1/4-ish. See the center? Probably should use a serrated knife, I'm thinking. got a nice hard crust on the outside. This cake, so soft, moist. The apples, give it a little bit of moisture at the bottom. Super soft. Can't wait to take a bite out of this. Now, of course, you can have a side of caramel whipped cream for this guy. If you saw my pumpkin pie video, I'll link it up there for you. I made a caramel whipped cream. It'd be delicious on this. And I put a little bit of caramel extract. You can also do caramel stevia because allulose isn't super sweet. So like this isn't like a super sickly sweet syrup kind of thing. So you could add a little bit of caramel stevia also. I'm going to put some of that on here. Looks good. Time to try it. You can also do like a caramel powdered sugar drizzle like I've done for my glazed donuts and my cream cheese Danish and all that stuff too. You can do so many things to top this guy, but it is delicious just with the syrup on it. Super moist, nice and cinnamony. Taste a little bit of the apple sauce there. Definitely delicious. You can also make my caramel sauce and add some cinnamon to it. Make a cinnamon caramel drizzle for the top. I did that for my last batch of this cake. Possibilities are endless. So good. I hope you guys enjoy this recipe. If you give it a try, let me know in the comments below how you liked it and how your family liked it if you did it at one of your holiday gatherings. Don't forget to check out my Amazon links and the blog link to the full recipe in the description box below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And as always, I'll be back with many more keto dessert recipes. Bye guys.